Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
A unique environment, and I felt like the energy the crowd provided the team, you could really feel it. Coach Mata's they've got a good team. They really do. They got a great offensive team, and in such a short amount of time to get all these pieces together, I thought their flow and feel and how they play together is really impressive. I felt like rebounding would be a big deal tonight. And I felt like it could be an advantage for us, but ultimately they won the battle on the glass, and we didn't play great defensively. We finally settled in, I thought, in the second half and figured out a way to get some stops, and then we just couldn't finish it with rebounding. It ended up being the difference in the game. I mean, right there at the end, we had chances to grab basketballs and to finish the game off, and we couldn't do it. And their effort, their intensity, their belief, you could tell they're doing a great job. So tip your cap to them. We've got to get better, significantly better in a short amount of time for Big 12 play. But this will definitely help us get there, and thought it was a great college basketball game.
Those are some of the comments for Coach Grant McCasland after the ball game last night as Texas Tech falls to Butler 103-95. So it's just you kind of felt like, man, it's kind of just right there, Jamie. With a couple minutes to go, even inside the last minute to play, I mean, you had to get a shot there at the end by Pop Isaacs to tie it and send it to overtime. But they went on like an 11-2 run. I mean, you had a great run there for a stretch there of about 4 or 5 minutes. From the under 8 to about the under 4. But just couldn't.
It went from a deficit to a 5-point lead at that point.
Yeah,
just couldn't hold on at the end.
Yeah.
And I think Coach McCasland's described it perfectly there. Just towards the end there, he had plenty of balls. He just couldn't grab hold of it. A couple of times it was 2 Red Raiders fighting over a ball that got bounced out of bounds or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Just couldn't come up with those loose balls.
Yeah, couldn't get the 50-50 balls and then, they go to the free throw line and they miss 2 free throws. Then they get the rebound. Then they put up, 2 or 3 or 4 shots. That
was the time they had 4 shots at it. And that came after you had just missed 2 free throws.
Yeah.
So that was about a minute and a half of pure horror.
It was a minute and a half of pure horror. Here's one of the things he said to Chris Level after the game on Double T 97.3. He said, if this is what we think that's how we can play defense in the Big 12, then we're going to have a big problem. The biggest thing was our lack of ownership of I'm going to defend this guy physically. We got bullied on some of those baskets at the rim. We got bullied on some of those drives. We just have to get those stops, just physically have to get in between them and the basket and get stops. The biggest thing I'm going to take from this, and I'm going to have to watch film on it to get clearer, but we're going to have to find a deeper rotation at some level. We have to find some other guys if we want to push the ball like this. It looks like we died in the overtime, got fatigued, and then we started settling for threes without getting paint touches. And there's only so many times Joe can drive in there. Pop made a great play to get us to overtime. That drive said a lot, but we settled too much at the end, and that's what I'm taking from it.
Yeah, I would agree with it. And, Pop made a great drive to get you tied, but he was one of the guys that was definitely settling in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Pop was settling or Pop just has that much confidence in his 3-point shot. I could understand why he does, but he was 1 of 5 on the night. Toussaint 1 of 5 too. I've told you before. I think Joe's a terrific player. I think he shoots too many threes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
give me him going to the rim all day long. I'll take it. Love it. Love his toughness, his quickness, his ability to compete at the rim, all of that. Yep, big fan of it. But I think he shoots too many. I don't know if it's a settling thing or if it's on board going to the basket, so I want to shoot threes. But I just don't think that's his strong suit.
Yeah, Toussaint played almost the entire game, 42 minutes and 47 seconds. Isaacs,
he's a warrior.
He is.
Man.
Isaacs was at 41, and Devin Cambridge was at 33-43. Did you think that was a goaltending call there at the end? I mean, it was close.
Yeah, I felt like it could have gone either way.
Yeah, probably it's one of those deals. If you hadn't called it, you probably wouldn't have had a problem with him not calling it. I didn't feel like he got hosed on the play, but his ability to get up there and block shots and protect things right around the rim, and it's impressive how tall, how high he can jump.
Quite honestly, he's a bigger factor in the post than your 7-footer is.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong about that. And then Chance McMillan played 36 minutes. So you had 3 guys that played over 35 minutes last night.
And I bet when Coach McCaslin looks at the film and he's grading guys defensively, I bet Chance isn't going to get one of the higher grades.
Yeah.
So you've got to figure out a way to, get this talented young man to, just to be a little bit better defensively, so you can keep him on the floor and you can see him, doing the kind of things that he's doing. You don't expect him to go 8 of 10 from 3.
Right.
I also don't expect him to go 0 of 5 from 2.
Yeah, right.
You are allowed to make it inside the line too.
Well, it's like
he short arms every 2-point shot. Every one was short. Yeah.
It's like
Toussaint. You knew it wasn't going in as soon as it left his hands.
Toussaint went 6 of 8 from 2, and he's 1 of 5 from 3.
Yeah.
And Chance is opposite of that. But
we all have to know our strengths in life, right?
I'm still still in the discovery stage.
Okay.
Just discovery stage of that, of what it is that I bring to this here table.
Entertainment, Chuck.
Okay.
Yeah. Boy, they had some really good offensive players though. Really good players.
Mm-hmm. Telford was a talented player.
Big, thick, wide-shouldered guy. Yeah.
He had 26, and then DJ Davis had 25, and they had 5 guys in double figures. Well, and the Red Raiders had 5 in double figures as well. McMillan led you with 24, but they had 2 guys above 20, and another guy had 18, and then another guy that had 14. Their guys played a lot of minutes too. They had 4 guys that played over 35 minutes. So both teams.
And the overtime factors into that.
Yeah. Right. But still, it's still a significant amount. It's still a significant amount of time. And it looked like a great atmosphere as well there at Hinkle Fieldhouse. So it was, unfortunately, just didn't come out on your side last night, and that would have been a great little resume win. Next action for the Red Raiders will be on December 6th. They'll take on Omaha here in Lubbock. That'll be a 7:00 tip time, and then they're off until December 12th when they take on Oral Roberts. They got to take some tests. Now I wonder. I'm not even gonna. In today's collegiate world, do they use the buildings for classrooms anymore? I'm being a little facetious there because there's so many online classes. Do they have to go in to take the final? I'm trying to have a little fun, but
what about the two of us makes you think we know the answer to this question? Neither one of us are going to school right now.
No, I know.
We work with you. You see us every single day, all day long.
No, you're right.
We're not hiding an education process behind
It's probably an unfair comment, but
my kid has to go to class.
Okay, good.
Yeah, she has to go into buildings.
Into buildings, that's good. Yeah. That's good. Well, they have them. They should use them. Yeah.
Very nice campus with nice buildings.
Yeah, good heat and everything like that.
They take care of them. At LCU.
Yeah, at LCU. Good. I'm glad to know that. So anyway, that's that. Cowboys won last night. They hung on by the skin of their chinny chin to defeat the Seattle Seahawks. Wasn't quite the double-digit kind of game that I thought was just going to happen for them, but we'll get into that this morning. Plus, we'll get into some other college football games, the big ones that are going to be taking place this weekend. So it is It is nice to have you with us this morning. You can weigh in on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app presented by Happy State Bank.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
It's a Football Friday presented by Abundance Energy. Great to have you with us here this morning on the Morning Drive. Dallas Cowboys get a Thursday night win last night. It's funny, when I was conversing by text with the lucky lady, she was asking me last night, okay, so we don't have anything tonight? I said, whoa. So we got, she's like, besides basketball? And I'm like, oh, I said, lucky for you. It's a rare Thursday night doubleheader. We've got Tech basketball game followed by the Cowboys. And she's like, woo, I don't know how I could be such a lucky girl, right? But Cowboys in action last night. They taking on the Seattle Seahawks, and Cowboys get the win, and had to come from behind to do it. They win 41-35, move their record to 9-3 on the season. The previous home games had all been won by 20 or more points. And some of the level of competition was obviously different than what you had last night. But man, Geno Smith, 23 of 41, Jamie, 334 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did throw an interception. It didn't hurt the Seahawks, as it turned out. But he put on a pretty good performance last night with his effort. Dak last night was 29 of 41, 299. So the same number of attempts, 6 more completions for Dak. He did not throw an interception, 3 touchdowns. Cowboys did go for it on 4th down once and failed. And they did have a little bit of a struggle early on, but man, CeeDee Lamb, another big night for him. 12 receptions, 116 yards, and a touchdown.
We talked about him yesterday being one of the best in the league, and he continues to show that.
Yeah, no question. Deron Bland had an interception. He didn't run it back for a touchdown. So it was like, come on, man, what?
Yeah, it wasn't the best night for Bland, though.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Metcalf made him look silly a few times, and there has to be a little bit of gamble in every defensive back. I mean, because those are the ones that are going to make plays right for you more times than not. Usually, the ball doesn't come right to them.
Right.
But I think it's very similar to Diggs in his great year last year, where he was picking off passes left and right. He was also getting beat left and right, and it looked like Deron Bland is kind of cut from the same cloth.
Cowboys had to settle for field goals 4 times.
Yeah. And that's been a problem for Dallas all season long.
It has.
But it was good to see when the game was on the line late, you were able to get that set.
Yeah. And unfortunately for me, I might have drifted off after the 2-point conversion. But because I woke up and was like, oh, game's over. I couldn't hang anymore, man.
I think this was a classic game of Dallas. I don't know if it was looking ahead or not respecting the Seahawks. I just think that there was looked like a little bit of playing in a fog last night.
Yeah, I think it was more the latter of, instead of looking ahead, I think it was maybe lack of respect to the opponent.
Yeah, and the Seahawks are okay. They're a decent football team. So, if you're a Cowboy fan, I think the Cowboys have been playing at a really high level. I don't think you should get too down about this one. A little bit of a, you haven't been as dominant as you have been. Seattle's probably one of the better teams you've played in this stretch at home.
Yes.
So, hey, you found a way to win. Don't be disappointed about it, and you keep the mo going and get excited for next Sunday night.
Ugly game from a penalty standpoint. I mean, there were 19 penalties accepted, 257 yards in total penalty yardage between the two teams. Cowboys penalized 9 times for 127, Seahawks 10 for 130. I mean, it was
that's what everybody wants, right? You want them to be fair.
Oh, my God.
Equal.
We don't. The other team gets thrown 83 penalties, and we only had 7. How is that fair? Well,
I know.
You got 10 and 9.
I know.
And they're almost equal yardage.
I know. I mean,
everybody wins.
I know. There were
except the people trying to watch.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I was like, and Al Michaels. There's a flag. What else is new? There's a flag. What else is new? There's a flag. What else is new? I mean,
at at the possibility of sounding entirely too much like Chris Snead here, what do you want them to do?
Yeah.
Were those penalties committed?
Yeah, stop.
No.
Stop committing penalties.
Yeah, no, I think.
Do you not want them to call penalties now? Now we're complaining that they missed the call.
Yeah.
And I knew I hadn't double checked this because late in the game there hadn't been a punt, but there wasn't a punt in the ball game. So thanks to the texter for reminding me of that. But yet no punts in the game.
Yeah, but Dallas had some key fourth down stops.
Yeah.
I believe the last 3 drives for the Seahawks. Yeah, some really key ones.
So when they needed to go, but the disturbing thing for Dallas was you were in the red zone 8 times and you converted with touchdowns 4 times.
You'd like that percentage to be better, but obviously you scored 41 points.
Right. So it's hard to
complain about your offense in any way, shape, or form.
Right. But I mean, you could have blown them out and not made it a game. But at any rate, you're right. You can't complain. Seahawks were 4 or 5 and inside the red zone, but
although while I don't think the Cowboys defense played great either.
No, I don't. I agree.
I can't say that they had a bad game, like overall, with the amount of stops that they got when they needed the stops.
They gave up 35 at home. I wouldn't say it's a great day. I wouldn't say it's the worst ever.
Yeah, you could almost make
they got some key stops when they needed to.
You could make the argument that these were 2 balanced teams for one another for how they played last night.
Yeah, based on the Cowboys not playing their best.
Yeah.
But when they needed to on 4th and 1, this was the first stop. DeMarcus Lawrence gets a big stop when Seattle's at the Dallas 46, and so like you said, I mean that was the end of a 10-play drive. So I mean they were kind of rolling. Their next time that they were stopped on downs was 5 plays and stopped, and then 5 plays and stopped. So like you said, the last 3 drives, you really stiffened up and were able to get off the field. So that was really good for the Cowboys. So they moved to 9-3 on the season, and obviously headed for a playoff spot and trying to maybe just see how good you can get. And up next for them will be the Philadelphia Eagles. That'll be a Sunday night game a week from Sunday, so the Cowboys have a little bit of time to get themselves rested up a little bit, get some maybe some dings away from them, and they'll take on the Philadelphia Eagles, and then
they'll have a massive advantage with some extra days compared to the Eagles.
Yeah. I think I'm about massive, but a little bit of an advantage.
I was being sarcastic.
Oh, I know you were. I know. But that's okay. But they will. They'll get a chance to kind of stretch their legs.
I do think it's an advantage.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know about massive. You just have to play better than the other team. But
yeah.
This is the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
This is Football Friday, presented by Abundance Energy. There's one school
winding down. That's kind of sad.
It is winding down, and then it'll be a basketball Friday. Okay.
Okay. Well, that's good news.
It'll be a basketball Friday pretty soon here.
Will it be a baseball Friday too?
Oh, I'll try to make that happen.
Oh, come on, Abundance Energy.
I'll try
Wait
to
a
make
minute. So baseball wasn't part of your consideration?
It goes through.
Oh, yes. Very good point. Let's turn this on, Chuck.
I'll make that.
It's not on Abundance Energy. It's that Chuck didn't
my fault.
talk them into it.
I know what it is. I know.
We have not gotten to that point yet.
I know why it is.
We have not gotten to that point yet.
I know what happened, Jamie. Chuck goes to football games every Saturday.
Oh my God! Here
Chuck
we
goes
go.
to basketball games, every women's game and every men's game that he can. When we get back to the playoffs, then it will be Abundance Fridays for the Red Raider baseball team.
I'll see if I can make that happen. But hey, there's still one school playing in at the high school level here in Lubbock. Lubbock Christian will take on Dallas First Baptist for the state championship. This is TAPS Division 4, and that will take place tomorrow in Waco. Tomorrow night. The Eagles are 11-2. Dallas First Baptist is 13-0. So that seems like a bit of a task there. But hey, good for them that they're still playing, right?
Sure.
So
absolutely.
Good luck to Lubbock Christian tomorrow. I wonder why they're playing that game at night. It seems like perfect for a 2:00 kick, but who knows? Maybe that stadium's being used for
prime time.
Okay, prime time. All right.
Prime time.
Maybe so. Sometimes I think of the parents more than I think of the kids going, that mom's freezing her tail off there in that metal bleacher, and she's happy to do it, but it's like be a lot more comfortable for it at 2:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah, that's fair. And it's good that you're thinking of the parents.
Yeah, just thinking of the parents. It's crazy how much as I'm now, and this is my 11th year to be a part of the Lady Raiders, and it's amazing how much younger the parents are starting to look now. Even at the college level. I mean, the high school parents look like teenagers to me, and now the college parents are looking like, you guys are looking awful young.
I'm not sure what that says for you, Chuck.
It says I'm just getting a little bit older. That's I do not hate baseball. Someone says this. It is sad that the home for the world champion Texas Rangers, a Big 12 powerhouse Red Raider baseball team, has someone that hates baseball. Love you, Chuck. I do not hate baseball. Actually,
it's very sad.
I actually have a deep passion for baseball, but it doesn't. The spring is hard for me in getting out to the ballpark just because I've got so much stuff coming up and going on.
Think of all the spring football he has to watch.
Yeah, I did.
The XFL and the Canadian League.
I watched none of that. We know that I don't care at all about that. Let's see. 7:18 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Take your thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to WT973.com for that of the mobile app. Okay, so college basketball last night elsewhere. Texas beat Texas State 77-58. Oklahoma over Pine Bluff 107-86, and then Creighton, number 15, wins over Oklahoma State on the road in a Big 12 battle 79-65. It's still hard to think of Creighton as part of the Big East.
Really?
I don't know.
What do you picture them as?
Some mid-major, but I mean they've been a very good basketball program.
They've been a really good basketball program.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. How long have they been in the Big East? It feels like they've been there a while.
I don't know. I'd have to Google that.
And it feels like they fit there.
Okay. Tonight in the Big East Big 12 battle, number 6 Houston will play at Xavier. Xavier's 4-3. St. John's and West Virginia play. Because when I think of the Big East, I think of St. John's, Georgetown, Seton Hall. That's what I think of. That should be a pretty good game. St. John's is favored by 5.5, and that's Rick Pitino's team.
Okay,
that would have been. They probably made that matchup because of Pitino and Huggins, but Huggins took care of that.
A little disappointed.
Iowa State,
Syracuse, and UConn didn't get mentioned in that mix there. When you think of the Big East,
yes, right, right. That's two other teams that
Pitt.
Right, kind of just stand out at you. Iowa State and DePaul will play tonight in Chicago. UConn plays at Kansas tonight. UConn is 4, Kansas is 5. And then Fresno State plays at BYU. BYU is ranked 19th, and they're 6-0, and they're favored by 4.5. This is not a Big East Big 12 battle tonight. That's the one game that's not a Big East Big 12 battle. So that's kind of gets you up to speed on what's going on. Then there's more games tomorrow in the Big East Big 12 matchup. Is the Big East Big 12, do you think that has a better, I know the timing of the year is much better, so I think it's much better for this to be done in December, but do you think the matchups are better than the SEC Big 12 Challenge?
Yeah, I think they're good. It just kind of depends on the year because there have been some good ones in the Big 12 SEC Challenge as well.
But we always think of the SEC as being top heavy with Kentucky.
That's totally fair. And right now, I mean, the Big 12 is thought of as the best conference in college basketball, and the Big East is thought as the second one.
Yeah. And, again, when you look at teams like, whether it's Creighton or even, Butler or, St. John's, Pitino will get them back. And then UConn, obviously. So, I just think the Big East, to me, is better than the SEC, just in terms of top to bottom. Not necessarily that, because Kentucky's always going to be, they're Kentucky, for God's sake. 7:21 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Hey, I've got an interesting number for you. Would you like it for the women's game tonight for Tech and Houston Christian? It doesn't involve Houston Christian; it involves the Lady Raiders.
Okay.
And so I was looking at this last night because the Lady Raiders are 8-0 in the season, and they've won 5 single-digit games this year. Okay.
Okay.
So all of last year they went 20-15. Do you want to know how many single-digit games they won last year?
None.
That's incorrect.
Okay, I would take a shot.
That's a good guess. 2.
5.
Oh, okay.
5 all of last year, and you've won 5 already this year. You lost 4. You went 5-4 in single-digit games last year. So there you go. It's your little basketball conversation tidbit for today. Okay, 7:23 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Here is the conversation starter because this will be the start. This will be the weekend that Christmas parties will start. I don't have any Christmas parties to go to this weekend, but I know. Disappointing.
Sounds like somebody's looking for an invite.
No, not really. I don't know of any big parties. So anyway, here's a conversation.
Your little party won't be good enough for me. Has to be a big party if you want to invite Chuck.
What if it's a party of like 5, but it's like Kirby?
Yeah, they're all important people. All rich
that's
people.
That's a small party.
Yeah.
But that's a big party.
Yeah.
Well, that would be big.
Here's my conversation started. So you're familiar with the show Married with Children, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Married with Children, Al Bundy and the whole deal.
Okay,
so the
whole group, yeah.
The opening scene is there's the water fountains in Chicago, and then there's the freeway that goes by. They took the same footage from the Christmas movie, not the Christmas movie Vacation, but the movie Vacation with Chevy Chase. If you look at the opening of Married with Children, you'll see the truckster going across the interstate there. It's the same stock footage that they used for the movie Vacation and the TV show Married with Children. So there you go.
There I go.
There's a little conversation starter if you're looking for one for this weekend's Christmas parties.
Now I just got to figure out how to work that into a conversation.
I thought we had a rule, though, that if you gave us a conversation starter, he had to give us a conversation ender.
That might be that, too. Maybe they might go, hey, this wackadoodle over here is talking about Married with Children, some show that hadn't been on for 20 years.
Man, I feel like Christmas Vacation has already been on 1,000 times.
It has been on 1,000 times, right?
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Time now for Jamie's Question of the Day, brought to you by someone not named Jamie.
I think a lot of times people listen to us and probably feel like that show theme song fits us because we sound like a arguing husband and wife.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate Jeff putting that clip from Married with Children and the movie Vacation on the Yates Flooring Center chat line, and that I was right.
Chuck was right. If we didn't tell me I'm wrong, we can't tell Chuck he was wrong.
Yeah,
Chuck was right.
Tell me I'm right, man. Tell me I'm right.
So yeah, question not from Jamie today, and it is a football Friday, so I will ask a football question.
All right.
We just saw the Dallas Cowboys beat the Seattle Seahawks last night, prime time on Prime Video, as the case may be, or listen to it here on Double T 97.3 and 100.7 The Score. Cowboys, 9 wins on the year.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one team that has more. They're in your division, with the Eagles being 10. So my question is, are the Dallas Cowboys legitimate Super Bowl contenders? And why?
It would be hard to call them not. I think if you covered up their logo and said, this team is X, 9-3 on the season, they've got a dominant edge rusher in Micah Parsons. They've got a quarterback that appears to be playing very, very well. They don't shoot themselves in the foot a great deal. They do have a problem scoring in the red zone. But when you look at, if you just did the blind resume, I think you'd have to say, yes, this team is a Super Bowl contender, knowing that maybe your biggest obstacle is right there in front of you in the Philadelphia Eagles.
Do you think Dallas is going to win the division?
No.
I don't either. To be a Super Bowl contender, you're going to have to win back-to-back weeks, probably at San Francisco and at Philadelphia. I don't think the Cowboys are doing that. I think they're a good team.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I think they're good. I just think those two teams are better. And Dallas is going to be playing at their place, you would expect. Unless they find a way to somehow clip the Eagles and take the division.
And they've gotten no help in that regard the last few weeks when everyone was looking at this stretch for the Eagles' schedule and going, this is where a loss could happen. You could
blame
kind
the
of game
Chiefs.
Yeah.
Buffalo's supposed to lose to Buffalo.
Well, I mean, certainly the Chiefs had. I mean, they had their opportunities. I mean, they didn't score in the second half. I mean, the Eagles were the better team, and may be the better team. Maybe they're the best team in football right now.
I think the number.
Hard to disagree with you on that. What you just said, Jamie.
When you like
well, I think it's gonna be really hard to win at San Francisco and at Philadelphia back-to-back weeks.
When you look at, like Chuck said, if you were to cover up the logos and just show this is what this team has done this year.
Yeah, but what have they done against good teams? They've played the Eagles really well, and
I'm getting to that.
Yeah, but
I'm getting to that. That they've got 7 double-digit wins, which is tied for the most with, I think it's San Francisco also has 7.
And how many of those are above 500?
Yeah, I'm not arguing with you. Let me make my point here. But I keep looking back and I keep thinking about this season. Yes, Super Bowl contenders blow out teams they're supposed to blow out.
Fair.
And yes, Super Bowl winning teams win at home, which is what the Cowboys have been doing. They have been taking care of business in Arlington. You don't get a 13, 14 game win streak at home without taking care of business there. And I think they're a good team. But what don't Super Bowl champions do? They don't lose to a team who's trying to lose in the Cardinals. You don't lose to a division opponent that you know you have to beat in order to win the division. And you don't lose to the 49ers, who are the other team that you're going to have to beat in the NFC Championship game if it goes that far. And in the new way that the playoffs are set up, where there's only one bye, you're facing one of those two teams at that point on a bye. That's going to stop them from getting that far.
Here's what you can say. Of all the teams that are in second place, the Cowboys are the only team that could threaten to get into the Super Bowl. Because if you look at, just start with the AFC, Buffalo's in second place, 6-6. Pittsburgh, 7-4. Indianapolis, 6-5. Denver, 6-5. You don't feel like any of those teams, if they get into the playoffs, are going to advance past the second round. Then you look at the NFC. You have Minnesota 6-6, New Orleans 5-6, Seattle 6-6, Cowboys are 9-3. Of all those teams, the only team that you would say on the NFC side that would get past the second round is Dallas.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with you.
So take out the. If you consider they're the only Super Bowl contender that is not going to win a division. If you said it that way, you could say it. But then you look at the daunting task of what Jamie just talked about, going to San Francisco, one end of the country, going to Philadelphia the next week, the other end of the country. Not thinking about even who they're playing and the 49ers, who they got. But maybe a benefit for them to play the 49ers because they got embarrassed so bad. And I feel like the 49ers have kind of regressed since then, and that the Cowboys have progressed.
They've been a little banged up.
Yeah, but I think that Cowboys are better than what they were when they played the 49ers, and maybe the 49ers, that was the best that they're going to play because they beat the Jesus out of them. Now, the question then becomes is, could you go into Philadelphia and win?
Well, you were
right there.
Right there.
Yeah, you were right there. But then having to do that in back-to-back weeks, it's tough. Yeah, it's tough. 7.
Sunday night next week. Very important for the Dallas Cowboys. Very important.
No question. I mean, you can give up on the division if you lose next Sunday night.
Yeah. But you are going to need some help from somebody. And maybe your best help has already failed you.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
It is a Football Friday presented by Abundance Energy. We come to you this morning from the First United Bank studio and look forward to hearing from you today on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that, or the mobile app. Visual Edge IT hotline is open, 806-771-0973. So it's championship weekend in college football. You have a huge game tonight between Oregon and Washington. The winner, I believe,
I think you're right.
goes to the college football playoff.
Yeah, I think you can be pretty confident.
Yeah. This will be a game that you'll hear on Double T 97.3 beginning at 6 o'clock tonight. And the kick is a little after 7. Oregon is favored by 10.
Which is really weird
Yeah.
since Washington won the first game.
Yeah. I have not seen Washington play, so I can't sit here and pontificate that they're the stronger team, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They are undefeated. I think I am going to root for Washington tonight. I probably should root for Oregon because you came pretty close to beating them. But I for whatever reason, I've always kind of liked the Huskies.
I think just to make it cleaner for me in my mind, like I want Washington to win because it's sort of like okay, if Oregon now wins and it's one win for each of them, it's like, oh man, Washington got hosed just because their loss came later, but they're 1-1 against each other. Yeah. So if Washington wins, then it's like, okay, they definitely deserve to be there over Oregon. They beat them twice.
Yeah. The quarterback matchup could be interesting tonight. Bo Nix has thrown for 3,906 yards, 37 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Michael Penix for the Huskies, he's thrown for 3,899 yards, 32 touchdowns, but 8 interceptions.
Yeah, I think they're both really good.
And so,
That should be an entertaining game.
I
They're
would
both
think so.
Fun teams to watch.
Yeah, I would think so. Oregon does have a 1,000-yard rusher, okay? He has Bucky Irving has rushed for 1,043 yards, and then the Washington guys right behind him, Dylan Johnson, he's rushed for 961 yards. So yeah, I think it could be a very entertaining ball game tonight. 11-1 and 12-0. I'm rooting against Liberty tonight. I just
What do you got against Lucas?
Well, first of all, I didn't know, is he a Liberty grad?
I don't know if he graduated from there, but that's where he was an athlete.
At Liberty?
Yeah. Isn't it Liberty where he was at? I think that was where he was at.
I know he's an Oriole fan, but I didn't realize he was a Liberty fan.
I don't think he played at Liberty.
What would he have possibly played?
Lucas played college basketball. Don't you know that?
We found his page.
Yes, he did. Like he really did. But it's not. It's not a Division
like
at
Jeff Winston State or someplace like that.
Hey, which college basketball team did you play for, Heinz?
I didn't even try.
I think it was a D3 school, but who cares? I mean, have you played college sports?
No, I didn't play any college sports.
So
I just don't like Liberty. I don't like Liberty because of Jerry Falwell. I thought he was always a hypocrite. I'm always highly suspicious of those that think they're holier than thou, and I always feel like that. And then they also got Hugh Freeze there, which I think is fascinating. That the only job that he could get was at a pseudo-religious school, and he was like an absolute crook, So I find that I guess they're allowing him to repent there,
what was
from the desk of Choice Woodman? He didn't play at Liberty. He got his degree from there.
Okay. Well,
what do you got against Liberty?
What was Hugh Freeze's infractions? What were they recruiting?
I think he was.
Didn't it have something to do with a strip club?
I think he was using his cell phone and procuring not recruits. He was recruiting for himself as opposed to his ball club. I think it was part of his problem.
Okay.
think he was recruiting other people.
He was recruiting.
I think he was paying him. I mean, he was paying him. What was my? He was paying him. So I'm rooting for New Mexico State. I'm rooting for Jerry Kill, although I kind of feel like he's kind of had I don't know. He's kind of been different deals. Somebody said he was calling hookers, right? Yeah, he was calling hookers, right? I think that's what he was doing. He was trying to procure them and recruit them, and maybe he wasn't very good at that. I don't know. Anyway, he's got a good football team, but I want to see them drop out of the top 25 because I don't want them to mess up anything kind of bowl related, or for them to go, "Whoa, we're national champions." I don't want to hear that out of Liberty because they went 12 and 13-0, and hey, we should be in the college football playoff, man, because we went 13-0. Well, who did you play? Okay. Then tomorrow, and we'll have this game for you on 100.7 The Score. I think it's wrong. I just hate it. I would love for Texas Tech to be in the Big 12 championship game, but I hate these 11 o'clock games, especially, and I understand why you have to have it because you're trying to get 4 games in. I just feel like the Big 12 championship game is better than the ACC championship game, and that the Big 12 deserves to play later in the day than
the reason the Big 12
11
is at 11 is because the TV guys want you to watch and then stay on their channel.
I know, but
so you put your good game first now.
I know.
11 a.m. doesn't mean what it used to.
As a fan, I would prefer it to be an afternoon game or a night game.
I would tell you, I think the ACC championship game is going to be more entertaining than the Big 12 championship game.
Okay.
Except for the Nelly part.
Are you all in on the halftime show for the Big 12?
He's going to be on a mountain.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, okay. I would be. I mean, I like Nelly, and I see that the bands are playing with him. The Oklahoma State and the Texas bands are playing with him. Chuck, do you have a favorite song of Nelly that you want him to play?
I'd have to. Again, I'm not a song and title guy.
Okay, here's a lyric that you have to be able to get. Okay, it is right up your alley. You have to
try me. I feel like the pressure's on.
It's getting hot in here. What's the next line? This is right up your alley.
It's getting hot in here. Let's get out of here. I don't know. What is it? I feel like I failed you terribly.
So take off all your clothes.
Oh, so take off all your clothes. Yeah. It's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes. I can get into that.
I told you it's right up your alley.
Yeah.
I prefer Air Force Ones, but much better song.
We'll get into a little bit more of this. Oklahoma State and Texas play tomorrow at 11. I'm rooting for the Cowboys in this game.
I have just ruined everybody's Friday.
Yeah. Yates Flooring Center chat line. Can we please hear Chuck being national champs from Liberty? Wheels have fallen off again. Goodness, Chucky Mike. If you're going to call me Chucky Mike, just spell it right. Chuckie, Mike.
Man, of course I met Chuck.
Thank you, Brandon.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.